OpenAI stopped SORA videos of Martin Luther King Jr. after users made disrespectful deepfakes. OpenAI blocked depictions of Martin Luther King Jr. on SORA after users created disrespectful depictions of the civil rights leader during using the short-form video tool. The ChatGPT maker said that public figures or representatives can request to opt out of appearing in SORA videos. Yay, isn't that great? All you have to do to avoid your likeness being forced to do things that you would never say, being forced to say things that you would never say, or forced to do things that you would never in your life do, is ask. Ask nicely. Oh, and you also have to be a public figure. And if you don't think that everybody's job is going to be replaced by AI, here's a Redditor talking about how they use this new SORA 2 tool to make AI-generated influencers. I built a user-generated video ad generator that analyzes any product image, generates an ideal influencer to promote the product, writes multiple video scripts, and finally generates each video using SORA 2. The AI creates a complete character profile including name, age, gender, location, physical appearance and personality traits, lifestyle details, and communication style, and why they're the perfect advocate for this product. For the Ridge Wallet demo example, it generated an influencer named Marcus, a 32-year-old UI/UX designer from San Francisco who values minimalism and efficiency. So not only is AI going to take our jobs, AI is also going to be advertising products to us. How amazing! So people have actually managed to make AI even more unethical than it was before, from deepfakes of figures like Martin Luther King, to fake advertisements that make celebrities say things that they would never actually say, to AI-generated racist content. It seems like people are just finding more ways to make AI the thing that is quite literally draining our resources and sucking up our electricity, even more unethical than it already is. Hey everybody, my name is Justin Jordan, and apparently we're not safe from a future where our faces are fed to AI and made to say things that we would never say or do things that we would never do. But on the bright side, now our favorite cartoon characters can be arrested. Wow, that's amazing. And this is just a side note before we get too far into everything, but I really do find it so hilarious that OpenAI claims that it's allowed to train its systems using fair use, well, YouTubers get copyright claimed for using 1 second of copyright music, and I really think this Redditor said it best in this thread. Why is OpenAI allowed to use copyrighted material for the training of their AI models? Since OpenAI is based in San Francisco, I'm asking about California law. In a recent statement, OpenAI have admitted that using copyrighted material is essential for training their AI models. The argument they provide is that the usage of material is, quote, fair use. It's pretty clear to me that ChatGPT is not criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, or scholarship, which only leaves research as the potential reason this could be considered fair use. I'm not sure exactly what is considered research, but OpenAI is a for-profit company, and it seems crazy to me that development of new products could be considered, quote, research. Like if Samsung were making new smart fridges, could they steal copyrighted software and then say it's researching new fridge designs and that constitutes fair use? That seems absurd. Looking at the criteria listed below, I don't see how OpenAI's use of copyrighted materials is favorable to any of these. They are using it for a commercial product, using all manner of copyrighted works, using some works in their entirety, devaluing the original works by putting artists and writers out of work. And yeah, they're absolutely right in my opinion. Not only is OpenAI basically stealing the copyrighted works of this artist and hiding behind the guise of fair use. And listen, I'm not like #1 copyright defender, I'm not #1 copyright like writer, but at the same time, artists and intellectuals and writers and creatives all need to have their work protected in some way, especially in a society that seems to increasingly devalue their work and want to replace it with hollow AI-generated creations. So I do absolutely think that OpenAI should be held to account for literally using so many copyrighted materials. And you can blatantly see it as their new SORA 2 model has come out. So many, like, they literally get like SpongeBob episodes 100% correct. There is no way on earth that an AI on its own, without using any copyrighted material, without reviewing any copyrighted material, was able to get this level of accuracy of like SpongeBob episodes, of things like animes, things like mangas, very popular creations. But to get back to the topic at hand, today SORA 2, ChatGPT's new video creation platform, and let's be honest, like, I'm not going to sit here and act holier than thou, but some of these videos started getting me. Basically, SORA 2 is their new video generation platform, and it expands on the video generation that they already had to a point where it's utterly insane. People's faces, things like deepfakes are being made, and the only giveaway most of the time is the voices. Like, the video, a lot of the times, looks amazing and looks like very photorealistic to the point where a lot of people are getting confused, and a lot of people are even thinking that some of the creations from this AI are real. Now, an example of this that I found, which is recent, is the subway video which went viral. And let me just show it to you because so many people were confused by this video and even shocked that this video was AI.
And my husband. You okay?
Yeah, Hi.
Hi. So, husband? Works for me.
Now, so many people were bamboozled and fooled into thinking that this was a real video. I mean, just look at it, for God's sakes. Let's look at it.
You okay?
Compared to older AI models, the facial expressions look way more realistic. It even is able to generate people in the background. The only somewhat giveaway is the fuzz and kind of the lack of definition, alongside the fact that this woman has like, I mean, it's possible, right? But she does have like 2 nose ring combos on both sides of her nose, which is, people get that, but like, and it's really funny to see that people are interacting in the comment section as if this is a real video. How do you hear her through her headphones? How cool of an origin story. And I think a lot of people were really scared over the fact that this was in fact AI. And like I said earlier, at first glance, well, I don't think I said this earlier, but at first glance, when I saw this video, I did not immediately think it was AI. I just thought it was very weird and very odd. Of course, there are some giveaways, but you can literally see the immediate panic that a lot of people had under this video in the comment sections of this other video, which is kind of just going over the fact that people are absolutely freaking out over the fact that AI has gotten this good. Here you can see people kind of freaking out. It's getting scary how AI is getting harder to detect. Some people are saying it was really obvious. People in the comments saying it was obvious. Sorry, we don't pay attention to every single detail in random videos we see. It was kind of obvious. The people looked blurry the way they moved, and the husband didn't even blink once. It gave me uncanny vibes. Do you think people actually talk like that? It's obvious, I fear. The static was very visible. Literally, I'm so cooked. I reposted that video. The amount of people without that level of discernment is scary. And I will say, as someone who did originally fall for it, like, I think what a lot of people are failing to do here and what a lot of people are failing to see here, because I understand that people are concerned over the fact that people weren't able to discern that, right? But again, like, if you're scrolling, you're half asleep. I saw that video and was like, oh, this is, like, obviously things seemed a little bit off, right? Because who goes up to strangers in the subway? And I don't know, but there was also other videos on that page that were kind of covering this, and the person was like, oh, they claimed it was like a trend, and I could see how, like, you know how when videos like compress, like when people share videos and then repost the reposts, if that makes sense, the video gets more and more compressed. So that's where I was kind of coming from in thinking that this was a real thing. But sadly, this might be something that we have to continue to look, like, this is going to be something that people are going to have to start doing, like realizing when things are AI, like constantly thinking in the back of your mind that every single video that you see on your page could possibly be an AI video, which is insane. But before we get too far into this video, I did just want to give a short break to talk about today's sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. With the amount of insane and distracted drivers on the roads, it's incredibly likely that you'll find yourself injured in a car accident. I've personally seen the incredible toll that car accident injuries can take on people. A very close family member would find herself hurt following the actions of a negligent car rental company, which failed to maintain their brakes, leading her to barrel into an oncoming truck. Thankfully, they ended up being okay, but not only did they have to deal with the direct impact of their injuries, they also had to deal with hours of appointments with lawyers, drawn out courthouse updates, and the costs of litigation. And that's why the injury firm you choose to represent you in these cases is so important. There's a reason why Amelia Perez did not win Best Picture, just like there's a reason why Morgan & Morgan is America's largest personal injury law firm that has over 1,000 attorneys in all 50 states that fight for justice. Morgan & Morgan has gotten over $25 billion for their clients over the years, and that's because they aren't afraid of fighting and taking the insurance companies head on. And this is clearly shown in their results for clients. After an insurance offer of only $350,000, a client in Florida got paid over $12 million. Another client got over 40 times the insurance company's $650,000 offer, getting over $26 million. And even when it feels hopeless, Morgan & Morgan pulls through, getting a client in Florida $20 million when the final offer was literally nothing. That's because when you hire Morgan & Morgan, it's like hiring a legal army that has your back. Not all law firms are made equal, so if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win, and you can start your claim now by clicking the link in the bio down below or scanning the QR code that you can see on screen with your phone's camera. Thank you so much to Morgan & Morgan for supporting the channel. And while some people really claim that it's super obvious, I'm really scared over the fact that AI is getting better, because AI was getting used even before this new SORA generation tool came out. AI was being used to get people in trouble and make people say things that they never would, and it actually had real life tangible consequences for a lot of people. This saying that it's over a year old, US teacher charged with using AI to frame principal with racist audio. Dazon Darian impersonated a high school principal in Maryland in clip that quickly spread on social media. A high school athletic director in Maryland has been charged with using artificial intelligence to impersonate a principal in an audio recording that included racist and anti-Semitic comments. Dazon Darian faked the voice of Pikesville High School's principal in January following conversations that Darian's contract would not be renewed. The principal had expressed concerns over Darian's work performance, including a theft investigation involving allegations that Darian had paid his roommate using school funds. Using cloning technology, Darian forged an audio clip in which it sounded as if the principal was frustrated with black students and their test-taking abilities, police wrote. The recording also purported to capture the principal disparaging Jewish individuals and two teachers who, quote, should have never been hired. The audio clips quickly spread on social media and had, quote, profound repercussions, the court document stated, with the principal being placed on leave. And I do really feel like this is a horrifying incident, especially the fact that this happened a year ago. And now AI technology has gotten even better to the point where it is probably sometimes can be indiscernible between real life. And if this person had likely not been placed on leave, had likely not been in trouble, there would probably be really no investigation into whether or not the principal said this type of thing, especially given the fact that when stuff starts spreading on social media, a lot of people want immediate action to be taken against this principal. And of course, if I heard a racist clip from a principal, I would immediately be angry. I would not immediately think, oh, this is AI. And I think it's really scary, not only for the principal, but also for other marginalized communities, because if people keep doing this, it is going to lead to a doubting and a kind of immediate, like, hesitancy to support people, especially after they report incidents of things like racism. Like, it's so weird to me. And sadly, I can only imagine how things like SORA could be used to frame people to make them say things they never would, or even to make people do things that they would never do. And this really does get dark very fast, especially as women who are often automatically just sexualized by existing now have to contend with the possibility that just by way of existing on the internet or being a public figure, not even being a public figure, literally just showing your face one time on the internet, some creeps could probably put them in inappropriate videos. And what really gets me about this is how slow governments have been to take any sort of action against this type of AI abuse, this type of AI misuse, because there really hasn't been any nationwide action taken against this. If anything, the government seems to be very, very happy to utilize AI in any way, shape, or form, while not really putting any pressure on AI creators or AI without really putting any pressure on AI creators to actually regulate and make sure that these tools are not going to be misused. Even a congressional report written a few months ago highlights just how serious this problem is and how there really hasn't been that much regulation about AI. Regulating artificial intelligence, U.S. and international approaches and considerations for Congress. Artificial intelligence AI presents many potential benefits and challenges in the private and public sectors. No federal legislation establishing broad regulatory authorities for the development or use of AI or prohibitions on AI have been enacted. Recent Congresses have passed primarily more targeted AI provisions. Different administrations have focused their attention on federal engagement in AI, albeit with somewhat different emphasis on specific topics. The focus on AI under the Biden administration appears to be shifting towards security concerns. During the second Trump administration, stakeholders in the U.S. have debated how to approach AI and regulation in order to harness the opportunities of AI technologies, such as enhanced government operations and worker efficiency, while minimizing potential problems such as biases and inaccuracies in AI-generated content. And I think it was important that this article mentioned biases. While AI algorithms are not inherently biased or not inherently racist, possibly, the creators and the people who are feeding the AI information and the sources of information that these artificial intelligence platforms are gathering their information from absolutely are. People are going to import their own biases into technology. I think we really saw this with the ghetto AI trend that recently occurred and is still occurring. A lot of people are using video generation to generate, quote, ghetto AI characters, basically making a mockery of black people, basically making a mockery of black culture, which I really find insane. And of course, this goes viral because people are outraged about it. But a lot of people originally were doing this trend or participating in those type of trends were black people themselves, but unfortunately, like everything, it always ends up becoming a wider thing. And people who are not entangled in the culture, people who don't understand how those type of things can be racist, are also going to be people who are spreading that all around the internet. Now, just to show how realistic SORA 2 can be, I think we have to take a look at the gay Jake Paul trend, which just from the jump, we're going to talk about how this trend is weird because the idea that Jake Paul being gay or that Jake Paul doing feminine things is embarrassing and something that is going to be used as a way to blackmail him or bully him is weird. There's a lot of weirdness as it pertains to the way gay people are like shown or presented in the media. But again, I'm just showing this trend for the fact that it shows how good AI has gotten at replicating real life and how scary that is.
But like, can we talk about these nails for a second? Hello, look at her. She is pastel, she is glossy, she is living her best life. We got pink, lavender, little baby blue moment, some mint, touch of sunshine, and the glitter. Stop it, I'm obsessed.
Now, while there are a few inconsistencies that you might notice, such as the constant moving of the image, unfortunately, these AI-generated platforms are only going to get better. And I think the SORA video, I think the new SORA platform and just how AI has really advanced in general is really well shown by the Will Smith spaghetti test. A lot of people, I remember like a few years back, AI could not generate Will Smith eating spaghetti. It had a really hard time and it looked uncanny, weird, and odd. But now here's a TikTok compilation just showing how good it has gotten at presenting this information, at presenting Will Smith eating spaghetti. And I think it's really scary and is going to have real world implications, just how good AI is at generating people and just how easy it is to import images for AI to generate. Here's AI 2 years ago looking disturbing as ever and very weird. It's actually really disturbing to me. I'm sorry. This is not. Here's AI 4 months ago where you can see a more cohesive image, but it's still a little bit like different. There's still some inconsistencies and things that are very off. And here's it now. Well, it is a little bit off. It is so much better at being able to generate things. And I really think the way that society is reacting to this and the way that AI is going to become way more of a threat to our own personal lives, to our own personal safety, is something that we're all going to be looking at. Now, to get back to the gay Jake Paul trend, because there's a whole nother compilation of it that I think really shocked me about just how good SORA AI has gotten.
Share something with you guys. A lot of you have been wondering, and yeah, we're together.
Yep, he's my boyfriend.
Best thing that's ever happened to me.
And I'm the luckiest guy. Look at him, he takes care of me.
And he makes me so happy.
I love you.
An announcement in 3, 2, 1. I'm gay.
I hope every here supports me.
Here's my makeup set. Look at this. Oh my gosh, guys, it looks amazing.
Now, of course, the voice is still a dead giveaway in my opinion, but the way that it's able to generate things, even like this shirt right here, I feel like last year that would have looked way more like gibberish, but now that looks like it could actually potentially be a real shirt. It's terrifying.
All right, full fit check. Got the graphic tee tucked into this plaid skirt. Chain on the side. Boots are heavy, but they're given. Makeup's a soft glam, brown smoke, little shimmer, wing, and a gloss. I'm kind of obsessed with how the highlight's catching. Babe's first piece. Look at this little cardigan. She's pastel pink, ribbed, and so soft. I am obsessed. And here's the fit on. Tell me this isn't the cutest thing ever. The skirt, the cropped moment. Hello. Today, I'll admit, I'm an official gay with this new girly dress. I'm going to show you how to do the perfect everyday glam. First step, blush. Just grab a ton of it, swirl it around, boom, right on there. If your face is...
Okay, I'm sorry, but this one is actually terrifying because I feel like this one it's getting better. And it's getting better fast because this one, I actually was like, oh, this must be him parodying it.
Doesn't look like you just ran a marathon in the desert. You're not doing it. Yes, the vibes are immaculate, honey. I'm serving rainbow realness.
It can even generate people moving and in motion, which is something that I don't think it could really do before, which is also just really a terrifying concept as well. But you can also see people in the comments gagging over this. I love that Jake Paul was the target of this. Even I can't recognize AI anymore. We're speedrunning global warming for this. It looks incredibly real. The voice is just a little robotic. I'm so uncomfortable with how realistic it is. I hate that AI is a scary. Plot twist, it's not AI. I can tell it's AI, but in 3 years, we're all cooked. And like people were saying, there are certainly giveaways like the voice, but unfortunately, as these systems are constantly improving and constantly changing, it's really only going to get better before it gets worse. And once again, it really does scare me how people in the comments are totally shocked by how realistic the AI-generated videos are. And to transition to something darker, a whole other aspect of the AI craze that a lot of people are participating in is making people who've died say things or do things that they wouldn't do, to the point where the living relatives of these people have had to come online and ask for people to stop. A prime example of this is the Martin Luther King Jr. AI that we kind of discussed at the top of the video, but I think it's just absolutely diabolic in my opinion. Can we be serious?
Sir, you still have to pay for the slushie.
My sister, I have a dream that one day this slushie will be free for all who thirst.
Sir, hey, sir, this isn't about dreams. It's about paying for your slushie.
And people are actually laughing at this, which is kind of weird to me. Bro became frozen at the end. At least some people are calling out. He did not dedicate his life fighting for people's rights to be for this. Why do I find this absolutely hilarious? And like I said before in my Clinker video, I really do find it sad how things like AI are being used to perpetuate real life stereotypes, and I really am also imagining the sheer distress that relatives of these people have to deal with. Not only was Martin Luther King Jr. assassinated for speaking up against racism, now he's basically being spat on and made fun of, used as a puppet for some brain rot AI memes. And unfortunately, some of these are actually getting a lot of traction online. I don't know why people thought this was such a funny little joke, but it's actually kind of weird, and it's actually scary in my opinion how how AI is able to train its voice to the point where it kind of did sound like Martin Luther King Jr. I don't know about you all, but I remember there was a time when AI, and it kind of always had the same robotic voice and kind of probably used as voice bank, but now it is attempting to mimic people's voices in a way that is terrifying.
I have a dream that you will bag some bad bitches. I have a dream that one day your confidence will rise up like a mighty stream.
And like I was saying, the way that it's attempting to mimic his voice and then it's almost there, but it's not quite there, is terrifying to me. Because if it can mimic someone's voice who's literally who's passed away for decades and has not had like new recent imports into its system, imagine what it can do to a person who exists online as a personality, or a person like so many people who post on TikTok maybe one time, like telling a story time. That is a terrifying thought. Now, of course, people in the comments, a lot of them are calling this out. CIA working overtime. I have a dream that everyone won't use AI for the wrong reasons. He did not say this. But some people are actually laughing at this. I was so glad it kept going. The ending sent me. Thanks for believing in me, MLK. And another thing that I just thought about in regards to this type of AI being used to make historical figures say things that they never said is how this could be used to discredit or even try to cancel these historical figures. Like, God forbid a group of racists use this type of AI to discredit the achievements and contributions of this people. And this isn't just happening to Martin Luther King Jr. Another person that is being used for this AI brain rot, for some reason, is Robin Williams, the famous and iconic comedian and actor who sadly passed away in 2014. And I mean, this next AI generation is absolutely awful. I cannot imagine seeing this in general about anybody, but I especially cannot imagine seeing this about someone you knew in life, about someone who you're still grieving, about someone who somewhat recently passed away.
Okay, hold on. I think someone screwed up the paperwork. I was shooting for clouds and harp music, not lava and barbecue smoke.
No mistake. You died, you arrived, and here you are.
Yeah.
And I don't even get the point of this generation. It's not even funny. It's not even good. And even if it was funny, objectively, it's really disgusting to use dead people as a prop for your meme or a prop for your joke. And it just really shows how invasive AI is really becoming. And sadly, the living relatives of Robin Williams, including his own daughter Zelda, have to look at this type of slop. And Zelda personally even released a statement telling people to stop AI generating images and videos of her own father. Robin Williams' daughter begs fans to stop sending her AI generated videos of her dad. Stop believing I want to see it or that I'll understand. I don't and I won't, Zelda Williams wrote. In a series of Instagram stories posted Monday, the 36-year-old filmmaker issued a strongly worded message asking people to stop creating and sharing the artificial videos of her father. Please, just stop sending me AI videos of dad. Stop believing I want to see it or that I'll understand. I don't and I won't. If you're just trying to troll me, I've seen way worse. I'll restrict and move on. But please, if you've got any decency, just stop doing this to him and to me and to everyone even. Full stop. It's dumb, it's a waste of time and energy, and believe me, it's not what he'd want. To watch the legacies of real people be condensed down to this vaguely looks and sounds like them, so that's enough, just so other people can churn out horrible TikTok slop, puppeteering them is maddening. You're not making art, you're making disgusting, overprocessed hot dogs out of the lives of human beings, out of the history of art and music, and then shoving them down someone else's throat, hoping that they'll give you a thumbs up and like it. Gross. And for the love of everything, stop calling it the future. AI is just badly recycling and regurgitating the past to be reconsumed. You're taking in the human centipede of content and from the very end of the line. And while all the folks at the front laugh and laugh, consume and consume. And I really think Zelda's statement was not only very thoughtful, not only very thought-provoking, made me think about AI in a way that I really hadn't before, but also really heartbreaking. Because I'm thinking of how this could not only impact public figures, but also everyday people. For example, I know people who have had to suffer from online bullying after their passing, like Brianna Gay, a trans girl who was brutally murdered at the young age of 16, have been the target of things like smear campaigns and people targeting them simply for their identities. And if these same freaks have access to things like advanced AI tools, allowing them to further torment families, I can really only imagine the horrors that the families will have to deal with. But also the fact that Zelda is absolutely right. Nothing about AI is new or true. It's kind of just trying to replicate things that already exist. It's trained off of things that already exist, and it is kind of just manufacturing what it thinks that people will associate with that thing, or what it thinks people will associate with that term. And I really also do wonder what type of training model and how much like information from the internet is scoured. Like, I wonder if even like things like my own videos are being used to train AI or used in some sort of database. Like, I truly do wonder that, because I've seen clips of like AI being able to generate like video game reactions. Like, it's actually really scary. And also the idea that like, I don't know, it is really true that this is unfortunately reducing entire people's legacies, entire people's lives into AI slop to be consumed. Like, I don't know, as a meme. Now, OpenAI is at least taking some action against the Martin Luther King Jr. deepfakes, like we talked about earlier, but I don't think it's going far enough, and I think it's still weird that OpenAI kind of is like, oh, you can request to have your name taken off of this, but we're not actually going to have any regulations in place to ensure that people aren't doing this type of thing. OpenAI stopped SORA videos of Martin Luther King Jr. We went over that. OpenAI halted artificial intelligence videos of Martin Luther King Jr. after it said users utilized its short-form video tool to create, quote, disrespectful depictions of the civil rights leader. At the request of Martin Luther King Jr., OpenAI has paused generations depicting Dr. King, OpenAI said in a post to social media. While there are strong free speech interests in depicting historical figures, OpenAI believes public figures and their families should ultimately have control over how their likeness is used. The ChatGPT maker also said it would work to toughen guardrails for historical figures, and that public figures or representatives can ask not to appear in SORA. So, I really don't like the emphasis on public figures because, unfortunately, like I said earlier, I can really see SORA being used to make videos of explicit content of people that they didn't consent to. So what is an everyday Joe, person who's not considered a public or historical figure, supposed to do when their images are used to totally destroy their credibility or destroy their career or destroy their lives even? Because people's lives are legitimately destroyed when they have things like explicit content generated. I can only imagine, having an enemy in the office who generates an image or a video of you doing something that you didn't do, getting fired, and then having basically no recourse or no way to really tell OpenAI, hey, stop, like, my image should not have been allowed to use this. This is really bad. This is really, in my opinion, as a non-legal, person, I don't really have expertise in, the legal field, but this is a really, really bad look for OpenAI, and I really think it opens OpenAI to a lot of legal liability. And there's also this really amazing article from The Guardian which dives deeper into this problem, explaining just how awful and heartbreaking it is for these families to see AI slop of their deceased relatives. Legacies condensed to AI slop. OpenAI SORA videos of the dead raise alarm with legal experts. That video app can produce realistic deepfakes of Mark shopping and MLK trolling. Some people say using historical figures is a company's way of testing legal waters. Last night I was flicking through a dating app. One guy stood out. Henry, 34, King of England, non-monogamy. Next thing I know, I'm at a candlelit bar sharing a martini with the biggest serial dater of the 16th century. But the night is not over. Next I'm DJing back-to-back with Diana, Princess of Wales. The crowd's ready to drop. She shouts in my ear, holding a headphone to her tiara. Finally, Karl Marx is explaining why he can't resist 60% off as we wait in the cold to get dibs on the first Black Friday sales. On SORA 2, if you can think it, you can probably see it, even when you know you shouldn't. Type a prompt and a 10-second video appears within minutes. It can then be shared on TikTok style feed or exported elsewhere. Unlike the mass-produced, low-quality AI slop plugging the internet, these clips have unnervingly high production values. But the relatives of those depicted are not laughing. Quote, "It's deeply disrespectful and hurtful to see my father's image used in such a cavalier and insensitive manner when he dedicated his life to truth," Malcolm X's daughter told the Washington Post. She was 2 when her father was assassinated. Today, SORA clips depict the civil rights activist wrestling with MLK, talking about defecating on himself and making cruel jokes. People who have died more recently have also been spotted. The app is littered with videos of Stephen Hawking receiving a #power slap that knocks his wheelchair over. Kobe Bryant dunks on an old woman while shouting about objects up his rectum. Amy Winehouse can be found stumbling around the streets of Manhattan or crying into the camera as mascara runs down her face. Deaths from the past 2 years, Ozzy Osbourne, Matthew Perry, Liam Payne, are absent, indicating a cutoff that falls somewhere between. Whenever they die, this, quote, puppeteering of the dead risks redrawing the lines of history, says Henry Alger, a generative AI expert. People fear that a world saturated with this type of content is going to lead to a distortion of these people and how they're remembered. SORA's algorithm rewards shock value. One video on my feed shows Dr. King making monkey sounds during his "I Have a Dream" speech. Others depict Bryant reenacting the helicopter crash that killed him and his daughter. And while for the interest of time, we're not going to read through the full article, I do recommend that you actually look at this like on your own time, if you can, because it is a really well made and really well thought out article that I think explains deeply just how scary and just how this platform can be misused. But as we wrap up here, I did really want to talk about why I keep talking about AI and why I think it's so important to keep talking against AI. I watched another amazing video from Not Even Emily where she covered the creation of this AI actress that was supposedly invented to replace actors. I've also seen other creations like this R&B artist that's supposed to be an AI artist. But my gripe with AI actually really comes down to the fact that it isn't inherently unethical. But because of the society that we live in that prioritizes profit over all else, that supposedly values productivity so much that we're able to just totally ignore any moral qualms or questions, that we live in a society that has devalued artists and creatives to the point where they're the first on the chopping block for AI, that's what really gets to me. We could have AI giving us things like climate efficient ways to run the power grid. We could have AI finding ways to operate without it absolutely guzzling water or guzzling our resources, but instead we have massive power plants powering AI and choking low-income communities all across the country, and it's just really disgusting to me. But that is really all for me today. Thank you for watching today's video, and let me know what you think about the potential of AI or things that you think need to be put in place so AI doesn't absolutely just run rampant. But I'll see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, everybody.